"You forgot me." Few sentences hurt in silence the way this one does. Because being forgotten by someone you loved doesn't sound like a tragedy. It sounds small, almost invisible. But to the human mind, being forgotten can feel like slowly disappearing from the world, while no one even notices you are gone. And the most unsettling part is this: they are still alive. You are still alive. But in their memory, you no longer exist the same way. Love is often described as presence. Two people sharing time, words, warmth. But love is also memory. To be remembered is to exist in someone's inner world. And to be forgotten can feel like a second loss, a silent one. More than a century ago, careful observers of the human soul tried to understand this quiet pain. They wrote letters by candlelight, knowing each word might be read and reread for years to come. They sat for portraits, holding perfectly still, because a single photograph might be the only proof they existed in someone's life. In those days, memory was all people had. No recordings of a voice, no videos of a smile, just the fragile architecture of human recall. And perhaps because of this, they understood something we are only now remembering: that to be held in someone's memory is one of the most profound gifts one human can give another. When we love someone, we believe we are sharing time. But something else happens quietly. We place ourselves inside their memory. A small gesture, the way we pronounce a word, the stories we repeat, the way we look at them when they are not looking. These details feel invisible in the moment, yet they become the architecture of memory. Think of how memories form, not in grand declarations, but in small repetitions. The sound of someone's footsteps approaching a door, the particular way they fold a letter before placing it in an envelope, the silence they keep before answering a difficult question. These moments accumulate slowly, like sediment forming rock. And over time, they become the foundation of how we remember someone. Love is not only felt in the present, it is stored in the mind of the other. To love is to trust that we will remain somewhere in another person's inner world. This is why forgetting hurts. Because it feels like the evidence of love has dissolved, as if the story existed only for one heart. Imagine a photograph from 1880. Two people standing side by side, their faces serious, as was the custom. One of them remembers that day vividly: the temperature of the air, the weight of anticipation, the unspoken promise that this moment mattered. The other has let the memory fade entirely. The photograph remains, but the shared experience lives now in only one mind. This is the loneliness of unequal memory. One person carrying what two people lived. Many fears in human life are never spoken. They live quietly beneath daily thoughts. The fear of being forgotten is one of them. It rarely appears as a sentence. Instead, it appears as questions. Do I still cross their mind? Do they remember my voice? Was I just a passing moment? The unconscious mind does not fear silence. It fears erasure, and erasure feels more final than goodbye. Because to be erased feels close to never having existed. In the human brain, memory is not a filing cabinet where everything is stored perfectly and permanently. Memory is reconstruction. Each time we recall something, we rebuild it from fragments. And with each rebuilding, small details change. A face becomes softer, words are rearranged, emotions are reinterpreted. This is why two people can remember the same moment in completely different ways. Not because one is lying, but because memory is not a photograph. It is a painting that changes slightly each time we look at it. And sometimes, a painting fades until only blank canvas remains. When someone we loved forgets us, the mind whispers a cruel doubt. Maybe I mattered less than I believed. Or worse, maybe I was easy to replace. And that doubt can linger longer than the relationship itself. There is a particular cruelty in discovering you've been forgotten. Not through confession, but through absence. You mention a shared memory, and they look at you blankly. You reference an inside joke, and they don't laugh. You expect recognition and receive only polite confusion. In that moment, you realize what felt monumental to you left no mark on them, or if it did, time has smoothed it away like wind erasing footprints in sand. Distance is natural. Life separates people. Cities change. Routines shift. Time moves forward. The heart understands distance. A century ago, people accepted that distance meant silence. A son would travel to another continent, and his mother might receive one letter every few months. They lived with absence, but they carried each other in memory. Distance did not mean forgetting, but forgetting is different. Forgetting feels personal, even when no one intended harm. It feels as if the shared past has been quietly discarded. Moments that once felt alive become faint, then distant, then absent. And the pain comes not from missing the person, but from feeling that the connection was not equally carried. One heart remembered, the other slowly released. And love rarely feels equal when only one heart still carries it. The mind interprets this as rejection of meaning itself, not rejection of who we are now, but rejection of what we once were together. Perhaps this is why we save small objects with such devotion. In the 1800s, people kept locks of hair from those they loved. They preserved letters tied with faded ribbon. They wore lockets containing tiny portraits, not out of sentimentality alone, but out of a deeper need to have proof that what they felt was real, that they existed in someone else's world, that they mattered enough to be remembered. Every human being carries a quiet wish, to leave a trace in someone's heart, not fame, not glory, just remembrance. This is why old objects feel powerful. Letters tied with ribbon, photographs fading at the edges, a small gift kept in a drawer. They are not just objects. They are resistance against disappearance. They say, "This happened. This was real. I was part of someone's life." But here is the paradox of our modern age. We document everything. Thousands of photographs, recorded voices, saved messages, digital archives of entire relationships. And yet,
we fear being forgotten more than ever. Perhaps because we sense that documentation is not the same as remembrance. A photograph can exist without anyone looking at it. A message can be saved without anyone reading it again, than any generation in history. And yet we still need what only memory can provide. The feeling that we live on in someone's thoughts, that somewhere, someone pauses and thinks of us without prompting, that we have earned a place.
That we have earned a place in the private museum of another person's mind. Perhaps what we truly want is not to be loved forever, but to be remembered gently, even if only sometimes, even if only in passing thoughts. To cross someone's mind on a quiet afternoon. To be the person they think of when they hear a certain song. To remain not as an obsession, but as a tender presence that surfaces unexpectedly. This is the immortality most of us truly desire. Not to be frozen in time, but to drift occasionally through someone's thoughts like a familiar melody. Yet forgetting is not always betrayal. Sometimes it is how the mind survives. The human mind cannot carry everything. To move forward, it must set some memories down. Some people forget not because love was small, but because life demanded space. Painful memories fade so the heart can breathe again. And sometimes we are part of memories someone needed to soften in order to survive. The brain has a mechanism for this. It is called motivated forgetting. When a memory causes too much pain, the mind can suppress it, not erasing it completely, but pushing it beneath the surface where it cannot hurt as much. This is not cruelty, it is protection. And sometimes we are forgotten not because we meant little, but because we meant so much that remembering became unbearable. This does not erase what existed, it only changes how it lives inside them. A memory can sleep without dying, and perhaps being forgotten is not always the end of meaning, but the quiet transformation of it. There is a difference between forgetting a person and forgetting the feeling. Someone might not remember your name, your face, the exact words you said, but they might still carry the warmth you left behind, the safety you created, the way you made them feel seen. Sometimes love survives not as memory, but as an unnamed gratitude for a version of themselves they became because of you. Perhaps the true meaning of love is not being remembered forever, but having been real while it existed. Even if memories fade, what was once felt was still real. The laughter happened. The comfort was genuine. The moments existed in their fullness, and nothing can unmake what has already been. A letter from 1875, now yellowed and fragile, sits in an archive somewhere. The writer has been dead for over a century. The recipient even longer. No one alive remembers them. And yet, when someone carefully unfolds that letter and reads the words, for that moment, the writer exists again. Not in body, not even in memory, but in meaning. And maybe, somewhere in the silence of the mind, a small trace of you still remains, even if they no longer realize it. Even if they cannot name what they carry, you change something in the landscape of their soul, and that change remains, quietly, like a path through a forest that grass has covered, but the earth still remembers.